we're trying to make mobile email more than just about reading messages when you're in line for coffee, right? Like there's this incredible medium that we've been using for multiple decades, and you know, we've had mobile email for quite a while on different devices, but when we started Acompli, the company that Microsoft acquired that I was CEO of, we started from the point of view of saying, look, here's this extraordinarily important communications tool, and it's underutilized on the device that everybody has in their pocket.
So the device everyone has in their pocket is probably iOS or Android phone. I like the Microsoft operating system, but it hasn't taken off like the others. How do you expect people to use this new app on those two systems?
Well, the way we approached it, we said, look, let's think about situations, right? The hard thing about building great email products is that everybody uses email a little bit differently, right? And so the challenge is, people talk about opinionated design and building mobile products that have a point of view and all that, and so you can have a very strong point of view, and then...
What does that mean?
It means that you make feature trade-offs. It means that you design a product to appeal to a specific situation, and the challenge is email has thousands of specific situations. You have probably thousands of emails in your inbox, or maybe you're an inbox zero guy. There's all kinds of...
I'm actually both. So my work inbox, my Bloomberg address, zero. I try to have no emails on it by the time I leave the desk every day. But I'll look right now. My personal email, as a result, I can't keep up. I've got 900 freaking unopened emails.
Exactly. And somewhere in between that is many different ways that you can approach the problem. So what we said, even before there was a single line of code written, was let's think about situations. Let's actually think about what is it, if you were to take a random sampling of 1,000 people and ask them what holds you back from doing better email from your phone. What would they say that would be universally true across this sort of large sample of different habits? And we came up with 3 things that guided our process as Acompli, and certainly today with the launch of Outlook, guide us. Yeah.
Give them to me quickly. What are they?
Composing anything but the simplest message, too hard. Finding things inside of your email and sort of the associated personal knowledge base it represents, too hard. Switching in and out of apps to get simple tasks done, too hard. So those 3 things add up to people reading lots of email on their phone.
So I'm going to go over again. So
yeah.
Number 1, it's just too hard to do email.
Right.
Number 2, you can't find stuff in your inbox. And then using with the other stuff in your phone is too hard to do.
Yeah. The third one is actually particularly difficult because it rubs up against one of the primary virtues of mobile email or mobile apps, right? One app, one purpose. The Uber app does one thing. It lets you, get an Uber car quickly, right? Email is a conduit of actions into other apps. You get an email from me saying, hey, I'd love to come on your show. When can you do it? And then it's like, go to the calendar, look at my schedule. Right. And the beautiful thing about those 3 things we identified is they kind of cross into each other all the time. So in that scenario, we're trying to set up a meeting, right? And without Outlook, I'd have to switch out of the email app, go to the calendar, look around, remember a bunch of stuff, switch back to email, and type a bunch of stuff. And that's usually more than ample excuses for me to not deal with that message from the phone.
Interesting. And Outlook obviously is so widely used in the enterprise, but not so much obviously on an iOS or an Android.
Well, it didn't exist up until today, right? So that's the really exciting thing, is to bring that familiar brand and that familiar experience and all of the goodness that represents that as an email tool and a communications tool into this new operating system.
Do you get a sense that Microsoft, you've joined Microsoft somewhat recently, do you get a sense that they're embracing these changes in a different way than they had in the past?
Absolutely. And I think long before we even started talking to them about, first a partnership and then ultimately an acquisition, we saw Satya Nadella's, sort of one of the first remarks he had about the industry not respecting tradition and instead respecting innovation. And that resonated amongst the small team of fairly experienced people that we had at Acompli and are now part of this Outlook team. We were like, that's cause to pay attention to what was going on at the time of the company. And now that we're inside it, we see that everywhere. It's a really, really interesting sea change for them.